Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In today's video we are building Belle's cottage from Beauty and the Beast. I chose to do the cottage from the most recent Beauty and the Beast, the live action film from 2017. This video took longer than I expected. I originally started out with just making the cottage, and then it turned into half of the village and the cottage. I had a few roadblocks. I forgot to push record, lost about 5 hours of footage, and I had a corrupted file. But we got through the roadblocks, and I'm pretty happy with how the video turned out. I will be playing music for a lot of it, and then just popping in and out to tell you about a few things here and there. And let's see, so right here I am working on just the shell of the cottage. I have a reference photo that I'm gonna pop in here in just a minute so that you can kind of see what I'm trying to achieve if you haven't seen the movie from 2017. But I think I did a pretty good job. I mean, obviously I'm limited to what we have in the game and I had to make it work, but I managed to achieve what I thought was pretty close to what it looked like in the movie. In this build, it was the very first time that I ever used the tool mod, which, if you don't know what that is, it allows you to basically rotate or move items in the game right here, where you typically wouldn't be able to move them if you didn't have this mod download in your game. And I used it quite a bit. I knew I was going to need it for this build because there's a lot of kind of quirky things that don't come in the game, so I had to make them work. Like the pieces of wood I'm doing here is the railing. It took a little bit of practice to get used to using that tool mod, but once I got it figured out, it wasn't too hard. There are a bunch of tutorials on YouTube and Twisted Mexie's website on how to use it. He explains it very well, the maker of the mod. As we go through the build here, you'll notice that things will kind of shape shift and change pretty frequently because I keep looking at reference photos and noticing, oh, hey, this looks different. Let's adjust this. So I just added that little pop out on the back of the deck there because in one of the reference photos you couldn't see it, and then I looked at another one and you could, so I added that. When we add the other buildings, that also happens a couple times, but it looks really cool to watch the transition in the video. I didn't want to cut it out because it wouldn't have made sense, but just so you know, it does change a couple of times as we progress through this build. Here I'm just trying to make there's like this little wood feature on this round piece that pops out behind the house, and I couldn't find anything in the game that mimicked that wooden feature. I might find another picture and put it in, but I ended up finding something else here a little bit later in the video that works better. So you'll see that in just a few. For these stairs here, I was trying to add a piece of wood to each side to make the stairs kind of look wider at the bottom and narrower at the top, kind of like in the picture. And I think it turned out all right. I had to fiddle with it a little bit, but I made it work. I am going to let some music play here in just a minute, but I wanted to explain this part. So I am trying to achieve like a cellar basement entrance with a ladder. Since we don't have like cellar stairs that would work the way I wanted it to. And I wanted it to be a functioning workshop, Maurice's workshop. I wanted it to work, like your sim could go into it and work down there. But I couldn't get it to work. So it looks really kind of cool now, but I do end up changing it. And I think it turns out pretty neat too with a functional door. I just take away the basement completely, and I used that bottom floor as a daylight basement basically, and use that as the workshop. So I'm gonna let some music play and I'll pop back in here in a little bit. All right, for these stairs, we do not have rounded or curved stairs in the game. I tried using a platform. I couldn't get it to work. I tried doing just stones and building it like this. Couldn't get it to work. So I wanted it again to be functioning so that your sim could walk up and down and use it. And with these items being debug and having no footprint, your sim can walk through them. So it took me hours, but I placed all of those and made the stairs kind of appear to be curved. When we do our walkthrough at the end, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But it was quite the challenge, and I'm pretty happy with what it looks like after all the work. And now I'm just getting started on the garden area that's in the front of the house with all of the broken down fence pieces. It was fun to build this part. A little bit later in the video, I'm going to do a fun fact. I did this in my last video and it was kind of fun and some of you really enjoyed that. So I went ahead and found some information about the Beauty and the Beast live action film from 2017 that I found was pretty interesting, and I would like to add that in this build.
Speed to the city streets, we began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night stop. As we shout from the top, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, the summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay young forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Now, I've kind of built the back part where you see in the movie, it kind of sits beside and behind the cottage. There's two entryways kind of in and out of the town. But I wanted it to be on a hill, kind of like it is in the movie. Not a huge hill, but a little bit. And I don't have a ton of practice with terraforming, but I think I achieved it pretty well. I just took it down a couple notches and then moved down a few squares on the grid and then tapped down a few notches and then lowered it a little bit more. And I did that the whole way down, and then I used the smoothing tool and it actually turned out really nice. now I'm going to be working on the roofing on all of the buildings. And I left quite a bit of the roofing footage in the video because I have always struggled with roofing and I hear so many people say that. So I wanted you guys to be able to see kind of how I pieced it together if you also struggle with roofing in the game. I'm getting better. The more I do it, the better I get. But this one was a challenge, but it was fun. I like a challenge. Now this is where I found the wooden pieces that I'm going to replace that little metal fence with, and I think these looked a lot more like that reference picture wood piece that goes around the round part of the house. It's not exactly the same, but it's the best match I could find with what I had to work with. I have gone through and done the siding on all the buildings. I changed a few things on the main house because I wanted it to match the rest of the buildings a little bit better. I do go ahead and change it again later on the bottom half of the house. It turned it into stone to kind of match all of the buildings in the village. Those two buildings on the side, they are going to be the tavern, and one of the buildings is going to be the library and the bakery. Oh, and here I go changing the structure of this building. I believe this is the last time I changed that one. And it looks much more like the reference picture that I was looking at. There are the doors to the library, and it did have an overhang, so I pulled it out and put some little eave pieces on there. Again, when we do our walkthrough at the end and some screenshots, then you'll be able to see that a little bit better. So here I'm just working on the kitchen living area in the little cottage. This is where my file corrupted, so we didn't get to see all of that, but I'll get good pictures and stuff at the end. I was pretty bummed, but it is what it is, right? And then I'm just putting a few books on the entryway and on the shelf in the corner. I didn't have room to do 2 bedrooms, and I figured it would be a small cottage anyway, so I pictured that Belle and her father just shared a room. Belle's bed was yellow because Belle loves yellow, and Maurice's bed was blue on the right. And I'm just setting up what I pictured to be her little vanity area. I covered the nicer box with a wooden box to make it look a little older. I picked out some combs that looked like they might be wooden so they wouldn't be so new looking. I put a couple pieces of artwork in there too, thinking maybe Maurice had painted them, since in the movie, if you look in the workshop, he has some art he paints and draws. Here I'm just placing a sink on a counter and I shrink it down so you can't see the counter. I'm going to cover it up with a basket. But I wanted to make this cool little shelf a counter for a sink, and I worked at it for a really long time and I couldn't get it to work. I do end up changing the sink because on one of my times of saving the game, it deleted that one, so I just added a different one, and you'll see that later in the video too. Now, right here is where I decide I'm going to change out the basement. And I added the door, and to make it look kind of like a rocky entrance or like a built in the ground type entrance, I put the rocks here around the door. And then I do put a bunch of different stone walls inside this area, making it kind of appear like it was built over an older building. And then I was trying to figure out how to hide those rocks there in the corner. And so I put that wood around it, the wall around it, to make it look like a chimney. And then I find this lamp that has a candle instead of a light bulb in it, so I switched the one that was in the kitchen out for the one with the candle instead of the bulb. I thought it was more fitting. I had to delete the wall right there in order to get that piece to sit like it was on the fireplace because it wanted to attach to the wall, and then I just put the wall back. And then while I was upstairs, I remembered I had a few pieces that I wanted to add to the bedroom. I added a bowl next to the pitcher and a little cloths and soap so she could wash her face or her hands there. And then I added some more paintings on her side because it looked pretty bare.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away. As you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby I have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no, you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you, but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side, maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never.
So right here, I start building a machine type thing that would be Maurice's invention. Back in the old movie, the cartoon version, he had a tinkering machine in his workshop. And so I did that and tried to make it fit the newer movie's vision. I used most of these items from Debug and the Star Wars Batuu pack that we got. And I think it turns out really cool. I tried to attach the hose to make it look like it was attached to the machine. And I had to rotate a few items here and there to make it look like it was all attached and running together. As you watch me build in the workshop here, I try to find lots of little items that look like little inventions that he made or things that he's building with or collected over the years. And so you'll see me place lots of little clutter pieces everywhere. I also, here in a minute, start to place the brick pieces around the walls to make it look like a cottage was built around an existing building. As I build the workshop, I am going to give you guys that fun fact I was talking about earlier. So I will link the website that I got this information off of below in the description. But to start off, it is setdecorators.org. The set decorator was Katie Spencer and the production designer was Sarah Greenwood. That is important because their names are mentioned in this little fun fact. So, to bring to life today the tale as old as time, Beauty and the Beast, while honoring previous incarnations, including the exquisite animated version from 1991. Director Bill Candon brought in the magical team production designer Sarah Greenwood and the set decorator Katie Spencer, along with other of the world's top filmmaking department heads, which fittingly for this tale of female empowerment, many of whom are women. Greenwood says they were striving for a timeless European feel in a tradition of great Hollywood romances. The story is set in a specific time and place, mid-18th century France, as opposed to an undated alternate fairy tale universe. And while each department's work was influenced by the animated film, the sets, props, costume, hair, and makeup were often authentic to 18th century life in France, a fairy tale set in that universe. The functional town of Villeneuve, the village where Belle, played by Emma Watson, and her father Maurice, played by Kevin Kline, live, was built on the back lot at Shepperton for the production's largest set, measuring 28,787 square feet. Greenwood, Spencer, and their teams drew inspiration from the village of Conquest in southern France. Included in the town, which was named after the author of the original Beauty and the Beast story, Gabrielle Suzanne Barbot de Villeneuve, is Belle and Maurice's cottage and his workshop, a schoolhouse, a dress shop, a village tavern, a church, fountains, and the village square and market. For the film's epic opening number, Belle, which takes place in Villeneuve, more than 150 extras Hundreds of animals, 28 wagons, and countless props and set decorations were used, each with distinctive detail. Over 1,000 crew members worked around the clock to build and decorate all the mammoth sets, providing an incredible amount of hand-detailed artistry. I found that information super fun and interesting with some facts in there. There is quite a bit more to the article. I just wanted to include the part that pertained to this current build that I'm working on. I will again link the website in the description below so you guys can check it out. They have some pictures of the cast, different pieces that they worked on, and you get a little bit of behind the scenes look at the movie. So it's kind of neat. You can go check it out if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So we just finished up the stable area where I pictured that the horse Philippe would be staying. It doesn't show that in the movie, but I had to put it somewhere in there. And there are chickens in the garden in the movie, which I added in here too, but I needed a place for the chicken coop. And so I placed it inside of this little building over here with some open windows and some grass. Right now, we are working on the library where in the beginning of the movie, she goes and exchanges her book. I did a lot in here. The building next to it is the bakery, and the one to the left is the tavern. But at this point, right here in just a few minutes, is where I did not record 5.5 hours of work. So you don't get to see all of the placement of the objects, but you do get to see me go in and fill a few items that got deleted when I saved, or I also had a few things I wanted to add after looking at the finished product. And right there is where you can see that I had finished the bakery. And I'm just adding a few pieces of bread that got deleted when I saved the game. All right, it is time for our walkthrough of the build. So we start here at the front gate. You look up to the left, there's the tavern, and here's the fountain and the little market I built. When you go through the front gate, you can see that cool little wagon wheel I tilted and laid on the fence there. We've got all of our chickens in the garden. I thought that was a fun touch since they had the chickens in the movie. There's our bird bath and the little log that the birds can live in. We approach the front of the house. I think it looks pretty neat. That water fountain there matched the one from the movie really well. Got some flower pots. We'll go up the stairs, go in the front door. Now, in the movie, they don't show the inside of the house, but I just used my imagination. Got her little front entryway and a pail there. Maybe she feeds the chicken feed with the pail. She goes out and feeds them. Got our kitchen, some plans for Maurice's inventions on the kitchen table. An extra chair in the corner with a plant on it. That drying mat I used is a tapestry for the wall, and I just used the tool mod and laid it flat to make it look like a drying mat. I tried to use carpets, but you can't raise and lower carpets. Got our pots and pans on the wall. Fireplace. Go to the back here. We've got our bookshelf. And the two doors. The one to the left is the bedroom. This one's the bathroom. Round rooms are so hard to do in this game. This is actually the first time I had ever worked with a round room, so that was interesting. And then our bedroom, our shared bedroom, we've got the art, we've got a couple books on their table there. And her little vanity. And then we'll go out the side door here. In one of the scenes from the movie, she comes out the side door and she does one of the songs. Looking out, there's the bakery and the library and the tavern. We walk back here to the back of the porch. This is where I put the laundry. In the movie, you can kind of see a bucket that looks like it would be something like this. So that's what I thought of. And I anchored the clothesline up into the roof so you can't see the poles of it, but it's still functional. Your Sims can still use it. We've got our flowers, some wood, and then we're gonna head into Maurice's workshop. Got all our little trinkets all over. This was so fun to put together. Got some designs on the wall. He's got his art on this wall with the painting easel. And I hid that cool stone thing behind the curtain there. I thought it just kind of made it look a little mysterious and fun. Quirky. He's got his desk with his pen and ink, books. In the back there, got the machine. Here we've got some tools for tinkering. I thought the blue crystal in the top of that machine was just kind of a fun added touch. His books with all of his notes. I imagined him just writing down all of his thoughts so he didn't lose them. And I did want this to be functional, as I said earlier in the video, so I deleted the basement and the ladder idea, and I went with this door and just did like a daylight basement. In the movie, there is 2 windows in his workshop, so it's like half the wall is covered by dirt and then half is above the ground, but I couldn't do that in the game, so I just made it work that way. And now we're in the tavern. In the movie, there's like these big archways with these giant barrels, so I tried to mimic that a little bit there on the right and make just like a smaller rendition of what you see in the film. In the fireplace, there's a giant fireplace in the movie, and so I used a stove hood and sized it up and placed it over the fireplace to make it look grand. Now we're going to go into the library. There's that table where in the first couple scenes of the movie, Belle takes her book and exchanges it for another one. It's kind of like the village, church, library, multi-purpose building. And then up here I added a chess table so that your Sims can get their logic skill. I figured why not place that in here. Looking down from above. We'll go back down the ladder. As we come out, we'll head back here and we'll go into the bakery. I love it. I think it just turned out so good. So in the door to the right, I put the old cupcake machine in there. I thought it was fun to put that in this build. Over here, we've got our cupcakes and our bread. I put a few things on this counter as if they could come in and sit and, you know, visit with the baker and have a snack. So I put the flour in those trough-like things because way back a long time ago, bakeries used to have these giant troughs that they would mix the dough. So I tried to mimic that a little bit. And then for the pizza oven, I used a fireplace and I built a basement. And then I brought the fireplace up to the first ground level and then went up 10 clicks so that it would be at the top of the countertops. Now, this is not my idea. I did get this idea from another Sims builder. I will link that tutorial down below in the description. As we walk through this like archway going out of town in the movie, I built the horse stable right in this area because in the movie it doesn't show this, but I just envisioned this being for Philippe, the horse. We'll go down the little hill. Got a little trough there. Then we'll go through this archway, and I put the chicken coop in here. I thought it was kind of fun and different. And then I didn't have room to do a giant marketplace like in the movie, so I just added this little market table that your Sims can sell stuff on and a water fountain since there's a giant water feature in the movie. All right, guys, we're gonna go to some screenshots here. I appreciate you watching this whole video. This took me so long to make. I had a lot of fun doing it. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as I did. Whether you're friends, family, or you're new to the crew, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and hit the bell so you get notified when I upload my next video. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun, as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, the summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever. We'll never have regret.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that could make sense. They hate when I keep dreaming I'll be famous.